That which offers no resistance overcomes the hardest substance. That which offers no resistance can enter where there is no space. Few in the world can grasp the teaching without words or understand the value of non-action. Lao Tzu. There is no definitive proof that he truly lived, but if he did, he likely existed sometime between the 6th and 5th centuries BCE, making him a contemporary of Confucius. Even so, the Chinese sage Lao Tzu is credited with a masterpiece called the Tao Te Ching, the foundational text of Taoism. A well-known idea arising from Taoist philosophy is Wu Wei, often translated as non-action, effortless action, or the paradoxical actionless action. In practical terms, we can describe Wu Wei as a flow state, what athletes often call the zone. When they are in the zone, they move without strain and glide through time and space with almost no effort. There are no extremes, no anxieties, no overthinking. Everything seems to proceed along its natural course. As an introduction to the beautiful Taoist tradition, I want to present this philosophy of flow. The Tao Te Ching is a mysterious work of art. There is no consensus on when it was written, and even its authorship remains in doubt. Yet one thing is certain: the depth of this text has left its mark on human history and continues to shape us to this day. It is, in fact, one of the most translated works in world literature after the Bible. The heart of Taoist philosophy is to live in harmony with the Tao, also called the Way. So what is the Tao? That is a question we cannot answer precisely, and trying to do so is futile. Our understanding of the Tao is bounded by the limits of our perception. What the Tao truly is, how it looks, feels, smells, or sounds, remains a mystery. Moreover, the very Tao we speak of is not the real Tao according to Lao Tzu. Hence, the famous opening of the Tao Te Ching. The Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. The name that can be named is not the eternal name. End quote. What then can be said about the Tao? Taoist thinkers emphasize again and again that the true Tao is an all-embracing force beyond our comprehension, not apprehensible by the senses. And although we can never fully grasp the real Tao, the aim is to live in accord with it, a stance strikingly similar to the Stoic posture toward nature. How do we live in harmony with the Way? Taoist literature offers no single fixed method, but it does offer many hints. Cultivate tranquility of mind, temper the passions, practice humility, and let go of grasping so that the movements of the universe can come through. This tranquility does not necessarily mean sitting somewhere with our eyes closed. Taoists note that quietude of mind can coexist with action, and when we are fully present in the moment, our actions unfold effortlessly, without resistance, with exceptional focus. So much so that the state is almost ecstatic. In his autobiography, former professional basketball player Bill Russell wrote, "At times it felt as though we were playing in slow motion. In those moments, I could almost sense how the next play would develop and where the next shot would come from." In the Taoist classic Zhuangzi, there is a story of a cook named Ding who works entirely in a state of flow. His way of cutting up an ox so captivated Lord Wenhui that the Lord marveled at the grace with which the butcher moved. When praised for his skill, Cook Ding set down his knife and replied, "What I care for is the way, which goes beyond skill. When I first began to cut up oxen, I saw nothing but the whole ox. After 3 years, I no longer saw the whole ox, and now I meet it with spirit and do not look with my eyes. Perception and understanding have stopped, and the spirit moves where it wills. I follow the natural structures, cut along the great hollows, guide the blade through the big openings, and follow how things are arranged. Thus, I never touch even the smallest ligaments or tendons, much less the main joints." An important detail in this story is the condition of his knife. He said that good cooks change knives once a year because they hack, while mediocre cooks change them monthly because they chop. But Cook Ding has used the same blade for 19 years because he applies it with refinement and subtlety. This story connects to another key Taoist teaching, the power of softness. By applying brute force and tensing up, we may complete a task, but we spend more energy than necessary and risk collateral damage. By contrast, a person in flow approaches the task intelligently, knowing when to act and when to refrain, finding the balance between doing and non-doing. It is neither too hard nor too soft. It is the golden middle between anxiety and boredom. The idea of non-action runs against the Western ideal of compulsion and ever harder work to get results. We are urged to be ambitious, to seize control, to push forward. Meanwhile, many suffer from depression, anxiety disorders, and insomnia. Are we burning ourselves out? We look down on passivity and often confuse it with laziness, but they are not the same. Look at nature, and non-doing proves far more rational than we assume. Results are not proportional to the energy we expend. They are the outcome of a sequence of actions, many of which occur naturally and require no more human interference than a light touch in the right direction. Isn't it true that many problems resolve themselves? Taoism likens life to a river. A river already has its channel or several, and, once in the current, we can swim upstream, cling to a branch, or release and let the water carry us. For much of our lives, we struggle against the current without realizing it. The mind believes it can and must control the environment in order to survive, which is fairly egocentric, given that the vast majority of processes within and around us are beyond our control. Consider this: we do not control digestion, circulation, or wound healing. We do not control other people. We do not control the future. We do not even control who we fall in love with or whom we find attractive. Everything beyond our reach moves in some direction. Sometimes that direction is set by the mind, but more often by the natural course of things. When we go with the current, we align with that natural course. This is the path of least resistance. It gives nature the chance to reveal itself without butting up against our opposition. Thus, the Taoist approach is more like navigating the river than trying to control it. The latter will never work. Another river motif central to Taoism is the water itself. Water's qualities, softness and humility, symbolize Taoist virtues. Here is a line from the Tao Te Ching. The highest good is like water, which benefits the 10,000 things without contending. It settles in places that others disdain. Thus, it is close to the Tao. End quote. Water may be soft, but it overcomes hardness, as seen in the erosion of stone. And water does not strive for the low places with an agenda. It has no goal, no intention, no fixed desire. Yet it nourishes everything it passes. It is a tremendous life force that works wonders without any ambition. Water is the softest, most yielding substance, and nothing surpasses it in overcoming what is hard and rigid, because nothing can rival it. If you have ever been in a flow state, there is one thing that disappears and returns only when the mind regains control: fixation on outcomes rather than on the task itself. This echoes the Stoic notion of amor fati, to embrace whatever comes and, instead of worrying about the future, to focus on the present. Whether you are immersed in sport, writing, a video game, or dance, in flow you forget results, pressure, anxieties about the future, failures of the past. There is only you and what you are doing right now. You are entirely in the present. And the only way to reach this is to let go. To let go is to stop swimming against the current and to stop clutching at branches. It means releasing the past and releasing the future, focusing wholly on this moment, and simply living in it without hesitation. Thank you for watching.